Hoy veremos.
Today we'll see economic and agro-industrial development of San Carlos Centro.
San Carlos Centro es una ciudad.
San Carlos Centro is a city of 14,000 inhabitants. Basically, its economic movement is agro-industrial.
Es agro-industrial. Tenemos grandes empresas.
We have large companies recognized nationally and worldwide. Then we have different companies from different fields. Here in the place where we are located today, you will have been able to observe.
Así que los invitamos a que vengan, no se van a arrepentir.
So we invite you to come. You will not regret it, and hopefully someone who is watching this video tomorrow can come to our country, can come to our province, and obviously we look forward to seeing you here in our city San Carlos Centro, province of Santa Fe.
San Carlos Centro está ubicado prácticamente en el centro de la provincia de Santa Fe.
San Carlos Centro is located practically in the center of the province of Santa Fe. We are located 50 kilometers from Santa Fe capital, approximately 180 kilometers south of Rosario, and we are approximately 550 kilometers from the country's capital Buenos Aires.
San Carlos Centro.
San Carlos Centro is a small city located in the Las Colonias department of the Santa Fe province in Argentina.
Conocida como Perla.
Known as the Pearl of the Colonies, that was established in the heart of the most prosperous fields.
Prosperous. Es una región netamente agrícola y ganadera.
It is a purely agricultural and livestock region. Activities little by little they were promoting their great agro-industrial development. It is a thriving city with a great human quality, and that has gradually grown to become a great agricultural pantry in this region.
Una gran despensa agrícola de esta región.
San Carlos Centro es una ciudad de 14.000 habitantes.
San Carlos Centro is a city of 14,000 inhabitants. Basically, its economic movement is agro-industrial. There is a large number of companies that employ many families.
Emplean a muchas familias. Y más allá de eso, como te decía, también es la gran...
And beyond that, as I was saying, it is also the great agricultural production livestock, more agricultural than livestock. At the time it was the other way around, there were much more dairy farms and less exploitation of crops.
Las cuestiones de los vaivenes de la vida fueron llevando a que aquellos que por ahí tenían...
The issues of the ups and downs of life were leading so that those who had the farm out there, and it is not so profitable in terms of economics. Here in our country with the great economic and financial problems that we have been going through for several years and have allocated those lands to enter what is the cultivation of different products, leaves, sunflower, wheat, corn.
Sol, trigo, maíz, así que hoy prácticamente podemos decir que hay mucha más.
So today we can practically say that there is much more agricultural production than livestock. But well, San Carlos Centro we can say that it is within what industrialization is. But also great part of the economic movement is generated through agriculture livestock.
Gracias a Dios tenemos grandes empresas.
Thank God we have large companies recognized nationally and worldwide. And then we have different companies from different fields here in the place where we are located today.
Ustedes habrán podido observar la cantidad y la gran variedad.
You will have been able to observe the number and great variety that we have of companies that are different types of products, and that was precisely the support, the growth that the municipality has been giving for many years, that is.
O sea, la verdad que ha crecido mucho y
The truth is that it has grown a lot, and the satisfaction we have is that many of Them have received constant and permanent support from the municipality.
Actividad más importante dentro de la economía.
The most important activity within the economy of this Argentine municipality is agricultural production, where crops such as corn, cotton, and soybeans stand out.
La ganadería, la porcicultura.
Livestock, pig farming, and poultry farming are other items of great importance for this region. The following also stand out: commerce and services, which are mostly located in the urban capital, and finally, the sector of the transformation of raw materials must be highlighted, which are great generators of labor for this city.
Materias primas, que son grandes generadoras de mano de obra para esta ciudad.
Cristalería San Carlos sin duda es el ícono y el emblema de nuestra ciudad.
Cristalería San Carlos is undoubtedly the icon and emblem of our city. It is one of the most important glass factories that we have in the country, the most important in the province, and we are satisfied and proud that it is here in San Carlos. Its products are made in an artisanal way. Surely if you have visited the place you have been able to observe it, that the glasses or the different pieces are made by San Carlina hands, by San Carlino artisans, the blow to take to the cup, to the vase, to the plate that one you want.
A la copa o al jarrón o al plato que uno desea, pensar que sale de una pequeña bolita de cristal y de esa manera se va generando el proceso productivo, la verdad que es.
To think that it comes out of a small glass ball and that is how the production process is generated, the truth is that it is wonderful. Those who could not see it, we invite you to come, because the truth is that it is a very important process, from how the piece actually comes out. How the piece is generated, when you can see the ovens and how all the glass mass is generated, and after when it is blown, the different process that it takes until it is packed and put to the sale is wonderful. And the truth is that it is recognized worldwide and especially here at the national level. For example, one of the great television programs, which has been on the air for many years and is from here, from Argentina, which is called Having Lunch with Mirtha Legrand, has had San Carlos glassware, crockery, and glasses for many years. We had another equally important program that also had San Carlos glassware products that were sometimes given as gifts. So the truth is that it is very important, and it is something that we permanently rescue here in our city.
Sin duda, como te decía, ha mermado mucho en este último tiempo.
Undoubtedly, as I was saying, it has diminished a lot in recent times. There are fewer and fewer dairy farms that were in operation if we take into account perhaps the last 15 or 20 years. Here in San Carlos we have 2 dairy companies that produce exactly this type of products, worth the redundancy we have in the area.
Con tambos de la zona, aquí en San Carlos son muy pocos los tambos que aún quedan, pero bueno, es...
Here in San Carlos there are very few dairy farms that still remain. It is something that has to continue. Hopefully it can be increased, multiplying, because the truth is that having raw material makes much easier, and hopefully I repeat that it can go back to what it was at the time, which was perhaps more livestock production than agriculture.
Ganadera que la agrícola. Bueno, hoy como te decía al principio.
And as I told you at the beginning, that table was reversed, but we believe that it is very important that the dairy can continue to exist, that it can continue to increase, because some time ago San Carlos was one of the towns or area of influence. San Carlos had the highest milk production.
Avicultura es algo que creemos que...
Poultry farming is something that we believe is beginning to take shape. It is something that perhaps here in San Carlos a few years ago,
Hace unos años atrás tal vez era impensado poder tener ese tipo de producción.
perhaps it was unthinkable to be able to have that type of production or that type of work here in our area. But like everything else, we have to help each other. We cannot stay in the traditional industry or livestock, agriculture.
O la agricultura, bueno, meterse en este tipo de emprendimiento, de producción también es importante.
Getting into this type of production enterprise is also important, because it is a way of generating a wheel, of organizing new challenges, of creating new points of concentration of people, because that also generates labor and labor benefits the growth of a city. One tries in the place that one is to be able to support all the types of that motivate the benefit and growth of a city, because ultimately today who is in charge of the municipality?
En este caso, en mi persona, tenemos que trabajar para eso. Hoy nosotros estamos de paso, independientemente.
In this case, in my person, we have to work for that. Today we are passing through, regardless of who can replace us. The city continues to grow, life goes on, and we have to work for that to happen. One always says and states that at the head of a municipal management we always have to work to try to overcome the previous one. Because of that, the growth of a city ensures us. If the management that we are carrying out is superior to the previous one, that means that we are advancing, and if the management that replaces us continues to advance and surpasses us much better, because that is a clear indicator that San Carlos Centro is growing.
Un claro índice de que San Carlos Centro está creciendo. Producción de carne en San Carlos son algunas personas que se dedican sobre todo.
Meat production in San Carlos. Some people who dedicate themselves mainly to pork meat more than anything else. Beef is the matter of maintaining the animal, or the standing cow, and the standing cow is the one that is sold and later it is processed elsewhere.
En otro lado se procesa. Sí tenemos personas que tienen el criadero de chanchos, como le decimos nosotros, de porcinos.
If we have people who have pig farms, as we call them pig farms, and how well they have the production process beyond what can be done in another way or with other derivatives of pork or bovine. But practically those who are dedicated to the production of bovine is to sell in the different auctions or in the different fairs.
Para vender en los distintos remates o en las distintas ferias la vaca en pie, como se le llama, y después obviamente el proceso de...
The cow standing, as it is called, and later obviously the industrialization process, and the meat that reaches the table of each one of us, here in San Carlos is not.
Sí, no, de eso no tenemos dudas, y ojalá que vaya de la mano como con la producción avícola y así se vaya.
Yes, we have no doubts about that, and hopefully it will go hand in hand with poultry production, and thus it will increase. Different activities will be dabbled. Because as I said at the beginning, and one out there always results in the same thing. Everything that can add up to the growth of the city welcome. A few years ago, as I was saying, it was raising cows for milk, or planting the fields, and today we are seeing that there are perhaps other veins that the producers were seeing that perhaps in a loophole that could be explode, and that is very good. Because I repeat, it speaks of the growth that our city can have. Horse breeders.
Criaderos de caballos, sí, si mal no recuerdo, hay uno seguro, sé que hay otras personas que se dedican a eso.
Horse farms, yes. If I remember correctly, there is one for sure. I know that there are other people who are dedicated to that, but I am not sure how they carry it out. But we know that there are people who are dedicated to that. We also know that there are people who work with the horses for what is called equine therapy. This is also very important.
Es un proceso de rehabilitación de distintas personas que tal vez no lo pueden hacer de otra manera.
Because it is a rehabilitation process for different people who may not be able to do it any other way, and today with equine therapy they have progressed. So it is also important that this I can go hand in hand with some people who raise horses around there. They are the least. It is something that is not so common around there. It is not something new in our city, but, as I said, how the question appeared at the time of agriculture at some point may be exploited, or horse breeding appear here in our city. Hopefully everything to add up and for the growth of San Carlos Centro. Welcome!
Cereales, bueno, hoy San Carlos Centro tiene la mayor cantidad de...
Cereal crops. Cereals. Well, today San Carlos Centro has the largest amount of production in the field for cereals. The different types of cereal are obviously sown according to the time of year. That is something that also changed in the latter time. Crop rotation existed at the time, when more artisanal production was done. When the land was praised and it was done using the traditional process, it was carried out that way later with the advancement of technology.
se llevaba a cabo de esa manera. Después, con el avance de la tecnología, con el avance de los distintos tipos de siembra, que se podían hacer siembras directas, otro tipo de implementos.
With the advancement of different types of sowing that could be done direct sowing, other types of implements, such as the fact that it was concentrating on the same production 2 or 3 times a year, I mean the same type of product, and this last time, with the change that we are observing and taking into account the climate, some fields had also been harmed by the issue of rainfall. You don't have to be a very intelligent engineer to realize that if the land is worked in the traditional way, where it is plowed with the disc and the soil is being removed,
las precipitaciones van a actuar de una forma, y si se trabaja de lo que se le llama siembra directa, es de otra forma, porque
the precipitations are going to act in one way, and if you work in what is called direct sowing, it is in another way, because it is like a very crystalline layer is formed on top, and the water, instead of being absorbed, the water runs above the ground, and well, it also generates inconveniences. From the municipality we have also carried out many important waterworks for what we call the natural lowlands, which has also allowed many people, many producers who had a large part of their hectares of fields dedicated, because after the great rainfall they had the lagoons within their land. Today, with those important waterworks that were carried out since the previous administration and that we continue to do in this one, have allowed that perhaps we have the example of a producer that he had, after a very heavy rainfall, around 25 or 30 hectares,
que no las podía sembrar porque justamente se la armaban esta laguna, y luego de haber pasado por su campo con los estudios técnicos que corresponden,
that he could not use it, that he could not sow it, because precisely these lagoons were created, and after having passed through his field, with the technical studies that waterworks correspond to the natural lowlands, today those 25 hectares are transformed into 1.5 or 2 hectares, that is, he has recovered more than 20 hectares for production, and that perhaps at first is like he is somewhat reluctant, because it's like they're going to go through your field with a machine, think that it's going to cause a problem, and then when they see the results that are different, the truth is that it's important. And going back to your question, the most important thing we have is the movement that is generated with the production of different types of cereals such as soybeans, sunflowers, wheat, corn. Many make the pasture to later generate the rolls and can feed the animals, so the truth is that the most it is important that today in San Carlos we have the 3 fundamental legs, to put it in one way: industry, livestock and agriculture, which are the 3 fundamental pillars where the movement and economic growth of our city is sustained.
uno siempre se plantea objetivos y siempre pensando, como te decía hace un instante, en superar lo que se hizo.
One always sets objectives and always thinking, as I was saying a moment ago, to surpass what was done, and that will allow us to grow. From the municipality we are very satisfied to be able to carry out large-scale works, and we can say it with all the letters: with own resources. What does with own resources mean?
Pensar que San Carlos ha crecido muchísimo durante estos últimos años.
Resources that we generate ourselves in our city. To think that San Carlos has grown a lot in recent years, and today the factory that was on the outskirts several years ago in San Carlos and is inside the city. Because the city has grown a lot both in width and length, and today it is quite a nuisance for the residents of our city. Beyond what one is already used to, because it has practically grown with perhaps the factory on the corner.
Entonces, esas empresas que puedan,
those companies that can move all its building and all its factory or its industry to the industrial area, it will mean that all the movement of this major is on the outskirts of our city and not here, which is not going to prevent San Carlos from continuing to grow, because all that production or all that economic benefit will continue to be here.
Uno se siente orgulloso de ser de San Carlos cuando uno se va de San Carlos. Es decir,
one feels proud to be from San Carlos when one leaves San Carlos. That is, I think we had discussed it off camera a few days ago when we met.
En el maravilloso estado que está nuestra ciudad, ustedes pueden ser testigos que han recorrido mucho y, salvando las distancias, podemos
Today we observe the marvelous state our city is in. You can be witnesses who have come a long way, and saving the distance we can be above much more important cities in terms of order, cleanliness, a lot of issues that make up the daily movement of a city. Municipal authorities that do the work, but one feels proud from the city, in this case San Carlos Centro, not so much when we are here, but when we go outside we see our realities, and when they ask us where we are from and they tell us the characteristics of San Carlos, our chests swell, and well, that is the tranquility and the satisfaction that one has, and say, I am proud to live in San Carlos Centro.
Desde el municipio se busca a incentivar en muchas acciones, se trabaja mucho en la zona.
The municipality seeks to encourage many actions. They work a lot in the rural area, and perhaps he can be a clear example because he has fields in the rural area of San Carlos Centro, and it is a characteristic of this management.
Nosotros trabajamos tanto en la parte que se ve como en la que no se ve, tanto en la parte urbana como en la rural. Y eso es importante que así sea, que los caminos estén en óptimas condiciones de transitabilidad.
We work both in the part that is seen and the part that is not seen, both in the urban and rural parts. And it is important that this is the case, that the roads are in optimal conditions for trafficability, because that will allow the production that is generated in the field can leave the field and reach the city, or leave our city and go to other places. If the fields are planted, but later the production cannot be taken out because the roads are not in good condition, that does not add either. Then from this, as in the previous management, we worked intensely on the maintenance of rural roads, some improved with gravel, with stone material, the large number of waterworks that were carried out in the countryside that also indirectly benefit the city. Perhaps issues that can be minimal, but also speak of the support that one gives from the municipality, or because ultimately what is produced in the countryside indirectly benefits our city, and as I told you, that they may have roads in good condition to be able to enter and produce production. That is something that we demonstrate, and that we not only work for the city of San Carlos but also for the rural area of San Carlos and the area, because ultimately those who come from other places can go through those roads and enjoy them. In turn, when they see us there, they tell us, San Carlos Centro, there is no rural road like there is in San Carlos Centro. How well kept they are. That is the satisfaction and pride that one also feels, having taken into account the conversation we had a moment ago about saying that one is from San Carlos Centro.
Sí, es invitarlo. Somos una ciudad pequeña, relativamente, 14.000 habitantes.
Yes, it is to invite them. We are a relatively small city with 14,000 inhabitants, located in the interior of Argentina, in a small portion of this world.
Riquísimo, en cuanto a cultura, en cuanto a lugares atractivos turísticos.
Argentina is a very rich country in terms of culture and attractive tourist places. First of all, I invite everyone who is watching this video to get to know Argentina. If they come to Argentina, ask to go out and tour the interior of the country and visit Santa Fe. When you are in Santa Fe, ask to come to San Carlos Centro. In San Carlos Centro we will receive you in the best way. We believe that you can be faithful witnesses of the hospitality that we have here in our city. We invite you then. When you can come to visit San Carlos Centro through Santa Fe. We will receive you in the best way. We have many places here in our city to show you, very important industries, one of the only ones that can be in our country that are here in San Carlos. So we invite you to come, you will not regret it, and hopefully someone who is watching this video tomorrow can come to our country, can come to our province. We look forward to seeing you here in our city San Carlos Centro, province of Santa Fe.
Aquí en nuestra ciudad, San Carlos Centro, provincia de Santa Fe.